Danny looks to follow up last week's fluke of a 3-0 by the unprecedented double fluke 6-0. Can he go 3-0 in picks again? He's up 1 pick on the year on me. Let's be serious, guys. It's a marathon, not a sprint. But we start with last night's game in Buffalo. Bills get the 31-21 win over the Dolphins to improve to 3-0. Josh Allen throws for 3 touchdowns. Bills have their way with the Dolphins when they have the ball. Had a little trouble stopping the Dolphins when the Dolphins had the ball until, of course, Tua went full Tua and just threw the ball right to a Bills linebacker. Here's Josh Allen after the game. Take a listen.
Obviously doing our job, going 1-0 each week. Still a lot to learn from, a lot to grow. A lot of room for growth in this group. A lot of young guys, but guys are stepping up. It's a close unit that's gelling together really well right now, and got to keep finding ways to win football games.
Danny, you're the only person at the desk who picked the Bills to win the AFC. Through 3 weeks, have the Bills certified themselves as clearly the class of the AFC?
Yes. I don't think there's much room for debate here because, at least how I interpret the question, they beat Baltimore, who is in their class. You could say it was a fluky result, but they won the game.
Brew's not liking that. Brew's off camera, but he is. Brew looks like he just bit into a lemon.
I watched the game. I watched the game as well. But coming into the year, I had Chiefs, Bills, Bengals, Ravens, Chargers as like the teams realistically that could contend for that. The Bengals have lost their quarterback. The Chiefs have not been playing very well. The Chargers have been excellent. The Ravens looked obviously very good, but lost to Buffalo. And Buffalo's the team that's 3-0. But more than that, this is at least how I do it, if you have a long track record, I'm going to give you more benefit of the doubt. So the Chargers, they need to prove it more over the course of this year before everybody else is going to catch up and agree with where I'm at on the Chargers. The Bills have arguably been the class of the AFC for 5 years in the regular season. They have been. Oh, I'm sorry. Since 2020, point differential, points per game, yards, opponent points per game, opponent yards, takeaways, opponent passer rating, and sack differential. They're first across the board.
How many 1 seeds have they had?
Yeah, no.
Right. Well, that's the regular season, right?
That is a single regular. That is a single regular season, and this year they probably will have their first 1 seed. No one, obviously, the Arrowhead Invitational is obviously the Chiefs Conference and the Chiefs League. Again, no one is, but the regular season this year goes through Buffalo, does it not?
I see class as like they're on a level above everybody else. That's how I define class. Not, you can say, should they be favored right now? Okay. But class, I just watched them get pushed all over the field by the Baltimore Ravens. And then the Ravens, as they do, and that's fair, gave them the game.
Okay.
So I think Baltimore, Buffalo, I'm not putting the Chiefs out of there right now. The Chiefs are the class of the conference. And then I'm with you on the Chargers. As much as I like them, I want to see a little bit more. But I think those 3 teams are on the top tier. Unless the Chiefs lose to the Giants, they're up there on that tier. So, no, not the class.
Yeah, and then last night they were supposed to go and blow out the Dolphins. And you watch the game, the Dolphins were in it to the end. If there wasn't a mistake on the punt block and then the poor decision by Tua, Dolphins easily could have won that game, where I don't think anybody, if you're truly the class of that division, you'd think they'd walk all over the Dolphins like they were expected to, but that wasn't the case at all. And I understand you want to give the Chargers some more time before you buy into them, but Justin Herbert played really well last season, and it didn't.
Well, that's why you're the Herbert guy, Coach.
Yeah,
everybody knows.
There's a lot of guys who like.
You picked him to win MVP, right?
I mean, a lot of other guys.
Did he bet him to win MVP?
A lot of other guys trying to hop on that.
Exactly, I know. You were the first. Everybody knows.
I was there before anybody else. Yeah. But you look at what he did last season, and then what he's done the early part of this season. He's made a pretty strong argument that similar to Josh Allen, he's starting to turn a corner. And if that's true with the way that they played defensively, and then with Jim's track record of turning organizations around and getting them, into championships, you got to give them a strong nod as well.
All right, so I want to give the Bills credit for what's different this year and really the last 2 years, and Coach alluded to it, and then talk about what's the exact same. What's different is Josh went from the most turnover-prone player in the league to almost the least. Lamar is technically the least, but in the Josh, I don't know if we can show the graphic or not. Josh, from 21 to 23, averaged more than 1 turnover a game, and the last year plus, he's at 1 turnover every 3 games. Like and the Bills, by the way, as a team, they don't lose fumbles. Like, they have been incredibly clean, and that starts with Josh, and that is what makes them scary. Like, we referenced it earlier. In 2023, so not last season, but the season before, final game of the year, AFC East on the line, Bills, Dolphins. Josh Allen had 2 picks in the first quarter. Had a fumble later in the game. You know, and it had a 3-turnover game in a game that was playing for the 2 or the 3 seed, depending on who won. And then he's just not that guy anymore, or he has not been for now 20-some games. That is hugely in their favor. Why I won't call them yet, Danny, the class of the AFC is because it feels like every year in September, they're the class of the AFC.
Didn't they lower a banner a few years ago?
Well, no, I lowered banners calling them the September champs.
No, but didn't Buffalo also
They had it before the season. You're talking about that Super Bowl trophy?
That was in the offseason. They had that was about goals. But every year they are this is what I want to ask you before we move on. I would look at the graphic you put up as concerning.
That they've underachieved in the postseason?
Well,
it's not January yet.
No. This isn't evidence that if they have been the best in every stat for 5 years, and they've somehow never been the 1 seed, and in that stretch they've been to 2 of the 5 conference championship games, and they've been to the Super Bowl 0 of the 5 times, then I would almost feel like that nothing would give you confidence. Like that this year, if anything, to my eye, the defense is actually a little worse than it usually is. You're telling me the offense has been year over year the best of anyone ever. Like, what makes you feel like this? Is it that this year will be different, or it's that eventually they just have to break through?
It's that one. It's that they have been playing as well as a team that can win a Super Bowl for years, and I think it is, like, close your eyes. Can you see this guy hoisting the Lombardi Trophy? We do that test all the time with that. Like, I think we all see it for Josh Allen. I will be absolutely floored.
The problem is everybody in Baltimore sees it for Lamar Jackson.
Sure.
Those 2 guys in the same boat.
Yeah, and they are very, very similar, and one guy beat that guy this year in the regular season, last year in the postseason. Like, I trust Josh a little bit more than I trust Lamar in January.
So that's
fair at this point.
That part's definitely fair. I think that for Brew's team, I think the argument would be if the sample size were not 5 years, but were the last 3 years, I bet the Ravens are close to first across the eight. You know what I?
You know, it's my team too. I picked
I forgot. So Brew, you are
Herbert guy.
You're the show's Herbert guy and Ravens guy. I'm the show's Bills guy. We all know this. All right, moving on to my actual team, the Kansas City Chiefs. The not just rare, unprecedented for this team. Week 3 must win. Mahomes realizes the urgency for this game. Here he is. Take a listen.
When you're winning a lot, those little details get lost, and that's how you lose. But when you lose early like this, you have to really just focus on those little details and maximize those. We're really good at that, and I feel like we've had great weeks of practice, and so that's why I have faith, is that I know how these guys are working and how hard these guys are pushing to be even better, and so now it's just about putting it together on game day.
Brew, are you concerned about Mahomes and the Chiefs?
I'm not. And I'm surprised I hear a lot of people talking about the Giants upsetting. I mean, we got 2 right here talking about the Giants beating them. I just, until I see them lose to the freaking New York Giants and Russell Wilson, I just won't believe it. I think this is about as close as we can get to a must-win for them, because we all know they play Baltimore next week. You lose this game, you lose that, you're 0-4, and it's still going to be tough. I think they got Jacksonville after that.
Yeah, Jacksonville,
but then
Detroit.
Yeah,
so Rice is back.
And everybody is. I mean, Mahomes obviously is on high alert. Kelsey, I'm sure, is looking in the mirror and saying, I haven't been good so far. So I just think, Coach, they're going to come out there and take care of the Giants. I think it'll probably be close because we know the Chiefs haven't been blowing a lot of teams out lately. But I think they'll pull out the win.
Yeah, so he's lined up 3 games now and lost the last 3 games that he's lined up and played. And we can say that Super Bowl, doesn't matter because it was last year, but it was.
Super Bowl matters.
But
Super Bowl matters the most.
Well, but I'm just saying, it was last season. So you can't
2 or 3 game losing streak, depending on how you.
Yeah, how you want to look at it, and you do have to focus on the little details. And success is like a martini; it does relax you, and you can get away from those things. And as you see the way they lost last game, it was very un-Chiefs-like. Okay, so they missed the field goal. They get stopped on 4th and 1. They have a pass that's batted up and then intercepted. Those things typically. Those are the plays that the Chiefs do make to win the games and to win the close games. So that's my concern is all those plays that they made last season haven't been going their way this year, and hopefully they can switch it back.
Well,
but it's a concern.
Real quick before you go, Danny.
No, go ahead.
Here is why my confidence level is where it is. I don't think they need to fix any of that this week. I do think they do need to in week 4 against Baltimore. I think the way they played week 1 against the Chargers would have soundly beaten the Giants.
Yeah.
And I think the way they played last week against the Philadelphia Eagles would have soundly beaten the Giants. So
and you get Worthy back.
Right, hopefully, and I think he will play, and hopefully you can get out of the game unscathed and move on from being so concerned about his shoulder. So I do think it is legitimate to be concerned or pessimistic in some camps, or at least curious, like, hey, does this Chiefs team actually have the horses to get to its 4th straight Super Bowl, something that's only been done once ever? I think that concern does not translate to, can they go to MetLife Stadium, a place the Giants have lost 11 of 12 night games against Russell Wilson, who has scored 37 in his last game and didn't score 17 in his 5 prior, and beat the New York Giants, which is why we argued about it. I told you I did think the Dolphins had a better chance of beating Buffalo than the Giants had of beating Kansas City, even though the point spreads.
I've been part of a couple moments in my career, and one time when I was with Parcells at the Jets, we were playing the Giants, and I would have bet my house that we would beat them and beat them convincingly, and they beat us, I think it was like 40-15 or something, and they were down, beat up. It's another time we were playing Green Bay in New England, and the offensive coordinator at the time came down and said, hey, as long as you guys hold them under 50, we're going to win. And then they beat us 13-6. So it's one of those things where when you start underestimating your opponent.
But I don't think the Chiefs, because I'm underestimating them, doesn't mean the Chiefs are. I think the Chiefs at 0-2 are dialed.
But I hear you, but the human emotion side, everybody watches TV, they have friends and family.
The show's very popular in Kansas.
Well,
we just saw that.
But there is that component of by human nature, you think, oh, we're going to walk this in, and it's pro football with a lot of good players, and that's what gets you.
So, not to be a stickler for the details here, but concerned at all about Mahomes and Chiefs Sunday? Mahomes, no.